Hey everyone, today we're going to do a review on all the included food on NCL Escape. Let's go check it out. Hey everyone, Johnny from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we're a small travel agency trying to give you the best information possible about cruising so that you can plan and go on an amazing cruise vacation. We would love for you to subscribe. Trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's go. So let's talk about all the included complimentary food on NCL Escape. When you go on an NCL cruise, there are several included food options. We're going to talk about each of those today. NCL is what we call freestyle dining, where there are no set dining times. You don't get an early or late seating in the dining room. You literally just walk up to the dining rooms if you would like to eat there, and you say party of 2 or 3 or whatever. And if there is a wait, they will give you a little beeper, and you can come back when you get buzzed, just like a normal restaurant. You can look at any of the kiosks on board, and it will show you if it's crowded as you're walking up there. You can kind of avoid. My idea is if you avoid the 6:30 to 7:30 time slot, you should have really no issues getting into any of the complimentary restaurants. So let's talk about each of them. First off, you have your 2 main dining rooms on NCL Escape, which are Taste and Savor. They are both at the kind of front-ish or back-ish side of the ship, right between the mix bar. So there's the mix bar, there's the elevators, and then on the right and left sides of the mix bar, port and starboard for fancy ship talk, you will find Taste and Savor respectively. They are both open literally the same hours. Sometimes one side will be open. If you're in a port, only Taste or Savor will be open because there's just not enough people to fill both of them, which makes total sense, but they're right across from each other. So there's really no ambiguity there. You'll know right away if it's open or not. So let's talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, pretty standard, I feel like, on all the different cruise lines. If you're getting Eggs Benedict, you're getting the express breakfast, which is basically like eggs, a meat, and potatoes with some toast. You can get all of your breakfast options, waffles, pancakes. They have different specials each day. But for the most part, the basics you can get all the time. They do come around with little fun pastries of the day, which are really fun. It's usually some people singing, which is always enjoyable. And the food is just good. Breakfast is good. I find it's just like any diner, anywhere you go to, you're going to get the same things. If you do get Eggs Benedict, I will tell you it's smaller than regular English muffins. They're like mini English muffins, which I think is actually perfect. It's like the perfect size. I usually get that and maybe some yogurt or fruit, and you're good to go. You can get whatever you want. There are no limits on breakfast. You can order a few entrees if you'd like, or a few appetizers, whatever you're looking for. All of your juices, coffees, everything else are included. The only thing that's not included would be your sodas or specialty coffees like Starbucks. And if you were to get a mimosa or a drink, you would need a drink package for that. So breakfast, fine. For lunch, generally only open on sea days, port days. There's really no reason to open up those main dining rooms because everyone's off the ship and it's kind of a waste of staff. So lunch, same thing, right? You're going to get your basic fish and chips. There's a couple specials each day, hamburgers. It's just a nice place it's like the buffet sitting down, getting service. That's kind of how I feel like lunch at the main dining room. It's still nicer than going up to the buffet and fighting the crowds and doing everything. You could sit down, enjoy a meal. So on sea days, you can certainly do that. And then for dinner, I find the NCL free food to be fine, right? I think somebody commented on one of our posts and said for the main dining room, they just expect it to be nourishing. It's basically what it is, right? You're going to get pretty standard fare. If you're going to get, I wouldn't recommend getting fancy things at the main dining room. So my thing is always they have lobster night and all that, right? If you get a steak in the main dining room, it's not going to be the best steak you've ever had. It's a complimentary included with your cruise fare steak. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a thin piece of steak that you get. It's almost like they take a steak and they cut it into 5 pieces. but it's all fine. I find the safe bets are usually like pasta and things like that, where you're getting something pretty standard that's easy to make, or like soups are really good. I generally find Indian food's always great. Those are your things. The main dining room is very fair to find. If you're not a picky eater, if you're not kind of like a foodie, you're just looking to grab something to eat, but not be in the hustle and bustle of the buffet, perfect, right? It's good. You could eat at the main dining room every day and not have any issues at all. There's nothing bad there. It's just not going to be like your higher end meals. All right, up next, let's talk about the Manhattan Room. I'm going to be really short on this one. The Manhattan Room, everything I said about the main dining room is exactly the same. The food is exactly the same. It is the same kitchens, everything else. The Manhattan Room is located on deck 7 at the back of the ship. The only difference is it's just a fun, interesting place to sit and eat. It is kind of an old school supper club vibe. And there is sometimes singers and dancers that come in there. There's like jazz in there in the evenings. And it's like these big vaulted ceilings with a dance floor. It's just a prettier version of the main dining room. But the food is exactly the same. So everything still applies. Still a great place to go. I would prefer to go there than Taste or Savor. Let's move on now to the Garden Buffet, which is the buffet on Garden Cafe, which is the buffet on Norwegian Escape. It is a fairly large buffet. It does get very crowded for breakfast and dinner and lunch. So I don't know why I did those in a different order. Who knows? So breakfast obviously is pretty crowded up there. Everybody's running to try to grab stuff to eat, especially on port days. Lunchtime generally on port days is a little less crowded. Dinner, the same. It's usually more crowded on sea days, obviously, right? Everyone's on the ship. But I did have a hard time finding a place to sit for breakfast and lunch a few times. We didn't eat dinner in the buffet, but I have previously. The food in the buffet is always good, in my opinion. You can find many different things to eat. Generally, I go easy. I'll go Indian food. I'll go hamburgers and hot dogs with like sauerkraut or French fries and stuff like that. Generally, if I'm going to the buffet, I'm not expecting an extravagant sit-down dinner. It's grab-and-go food. I'm not generally one to grab something fancy in the buffet, like prime rib or steaks or anything like that. I just don't find the quality to be great. I'd rather grab something simple and easy that tastes good. So that's what I do. I think the buffet for breakfast, again, it's a great option. You run up there, you grab yourself some eggs, maybe some yogurt, waffles, whatever. You're getting the standard food. They do have eggs Benedict and crab Benedict and a couple different things up there for breakfast. They were all really good. I didn't have an issue with anything. They have both types of bacon. They have crispy bacon and fatty bacon, whatever you prefer. But everything's pretty good. You can make your own toast and bagels and stuff like that. And then lunch and dinner, it's going to be variations of whatever the night is. They do like an Indian night. It's so weird. They do an Oriental night, which doesn't sound right. Shouldn't it be Asian night? It's so weird. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, who am I to say? Thought Oriental were rugs and Asian was the type of food in that continent. So, but they do an Oriental night on the cruise ship and no one has banned it yet. So I guess it's fine. So they do that. They do, like I said, Indian night. They do like American night. They'll do a bunch of different things along the way at Italian night and have different options. I generally stick with pretty basic stuff. The pasta where you like get different pastas made, that's usually really good. They'll like boil it right in front of you, put sauces on there. That's usually great. They do have crepes and some other fun things in the evenings and for lunch sometimes. Sunday bar, those type of things, all really good. Again, my issue with the buffet is never the food. It's generally the people. It's a real rat race, hustle and bustle up there. So you have people kind of jumping in and out of line, pushing people out of the way, touching things with their hands, those type of things. Otherwise, the food is always fine. It's just tough to find a place to eat and sit down. And it's tough to kind of navigate through all of the shenanigans in the buffet. Pretty calm on ours. It was an older crowd going up to Canada and New England. Wasn't a lot of drama. Everybody was very nice, but it was crowded. Next up, let's talk about Osheehan's. Osheehan's is open pretty much 24 hours a day. It is the kind of Irish pub on the ship. It's in the middle. I love Osheehan's so much more than the local. I think it's the local just looks like a sterilized version of like a bar, which I kind of feel like the newer Norwegian ships look like anyway. Like Prima, I feel like look very like institutional, which is a weird way to describe a ship, but it seems very beigey and blue, and I like a little color. And even the older gaudy ships, I would like that better than the newer like very one note beige ships. But I do really like Osheehan's. It's all of your favorite pub food. You get a pub hot dog with like sauerkraut and bacon on it. You can get there's another hot dog. There's fish and chips, Cuban sandwich, burgers, hot dogs, wings, pretzel bites, everything like little comfort food items that you would get somewhere. Little trick too, not included in your cruise fare. I know we'll talk about it later. They do have an ice cream sundae bar there, which I did not know until this cruise. I've been on almost 20 NCL cruises, I think, at this point. Did not know you could order sundaes, and they're only a couple bucks. I got a caramel sundae with like whipped cream and 3 scoops of ice cream. It was well worth like $4 that I paid for it. It was really good. So Osheehan's included in your cruise fare, again, except for drinks, soda, those type of things. Osheehan's also has breakfast fare. So your standard breakfast food. They have a smaller breakfast menu, but it is a nice place to go sit down if you don't want to run up to the buffet. You don't want the big production of going to the dining room. It is quicker. We did breakfast there on one of our port days. It's really good. No issues with anything at Osheehan's. Like I said, it's open. They do close for like 30 minutes here and there just to turn things over and to clean a little bit. Otherwise, you can go there pretty much 24 hours a day. And then the last but not least, room service, which technically is free. You pay a service charge for delivery. So room service, I always find to be a little quirky. Remember, it's one of those things where I talk about it, and I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes you get weird things. You don't get what you ordered. You get something different than what you ordered. This is a cruise ship trying to feed 4,200 people in the morning or afternoon or evening. And with room service, I'm always guessing there's going to be some kind of mistakes, or they're not going to have something down there, so they just swap it out. They don't have time to call everybody back. I get it, but I'm just kind of being honest. It's going to be luck of the draw sometimes. Sometimes food's going to be hot. Sometimes it's going to be not. All going to depend on how quick they get it to you. I am aware of all that. I know what I'm signing up for. It doesn't bother me at all. Generally with room service, I only do breakfast. It's pretty easy to get eggs and stuff. So simple. Get it done. You can order as much room service as you like for the one service charge, but be aware there is a $10 service charge when you order anything, including pizza or anything else. Those are all your included food items on NCL Escape. Next up, we'll talk about each of the specialty dining restaurants. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and come along on this really fun journey with us. Thank you. Bye.